This is CBC Here and Now.
They contacted these foreign doctors, gave the job to these foreign doctors without even telling me. It's costing them a lot more money to bring him in. It wouldn't cost them anything for me to do it.
Why is Central Health bringing a doctor from California, a COVID-19 hotspot, instead of hiring doctors here who are ready and willing to do the work? Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Anthony Germain and that is our top story tonight.
And here's what else we have in tonight's hour-long Here and Now.
We want to ensure that we have a plan going forward for September, and certainly that plan, Mr. Speaker, would have all students back in schools.
Get ready to go back to class after the summer. The province says schools will reopen in time for the new year.
Roller coaster ride of temperatures this week. I'll have all the details coming up.
Welcome to Here and Now. I'm Carolyn Stokes. So why is Central Health bringing in foreign doctors when there are physicians in this province who can and want to do the work? Anthony has tonight's top story.
Dr. Jane Rendell is a radiologist who worked in Central Health for 6 years, lives here in St. John's but worked in Central Health. Dr. Rendell, that all ended in the fall. What happened?
Me and two of my colleagues wrote a letter to the administration about patient concerns of how the department was being run, and we sent it to a lot of people. They got very angry with us for doing this, even though everything in the letter was factual, and threatened to vague threats to remove our credentials, which is a really huge deal for doctors.
Yeah, that'd be very serious for a specialist. But when you talk about patient care, what in particular were you worried about?
They were hiring doctors with very not good work, and we were picking up all kinds of mistakes from these doctors. We were letting the regional chief know about this, and they were doing nothing, right? We were seriously concerned about the degree of mistakes being made that risks people's health.
All right, now these are very serious allegations you were making.
Yes.
What happened?
Like I say, we got threats from administration that if we didn't withdraw the letter, they were going to remove our credentials, and that's a serious thing. We couldn't risk it, so we didn't think the workplace was safe, so we went off on stress leave, and we also filed complaints with Human Rights, and Human Rights got in touch and suggested we try mediation with them.
And you tried that?
And the Department of Health was supposed to be involved in the mediation as well, because we said we didn't want to do it without them present. We did get into mediation. There was some issues that I won't go into the details, but anyway,
so you both entered this allegedly in good faith?
Yeah. We were in good faith, yes, definitely, because we thought, okay, well maybe, because we had tried to mediate with them before and they refused. But then when, I think the Department of Health maybe was pushing them to do this. So anyway, we got into the mediation, and then it was interrupted by COVID, so it was put on hold. And at the time that it was interrupted, we said, okay, since it's interrupted, we're willing to go back and work there until we can resume mediation, because at the time, nobody knew how long that was going to be.
Right. And the authorities, Central Health, they made a commitment to you that once things normaled up, you would get your job back.
Because when we offered to go back, the lawyer wrote us a letter saying there's not enough volume at the current time because of COVID, but as soon as the volume increases, you can go back to work. So when June 8th was coming around, I knew we were going to open up more things. The volume would be increased. I've been asking them, and they keep telling me there's no volume. So anyway, when that happened, they said. It turns out they had hired an American doctor to come in on June 8th till the end of August to do work that I should be doing.
And you've learned where this doctor is from?
He's from California, which is a COVID hotspot at the moment with increasing cases. So not only is it costing the government to fly him in and put him up and pay for everything, but he's a health risk. I mean, I know they're going to say, oh, he's quarantining for 2 weeks, but we don't even know if that's enough. We don't know enough about this virus, He could, and plus he's also got to expose people on his way in here. He's got to fly from California, he's got to be picked up by a taxi, he's got to live in an apartment for 2 weeks. If he's infected, and right now, Central Newfoundland has really no COVID, right?
Right, but Central Health, ever since it was investigated because it had a toxic workplace.
Yes.
And I believe Dr. Haggie, the health minister, has recognized that there was an obligation to hire doctors from Newfoundland and Labrador if they're available. So have you raised this with them?
I have, and not only is that the case? But you're not allowed to hire doctors, non-Canadian doctors, to work if there's a Canadian doctor ready to work. And they know I'm ready to work. I've been asking them since March to work, and they keep telling me no. And then when the volume increased a bit, they bring in someone from out of the country who's a health risk, and who it's against federal law to bring him in. In fact, I actually have made a formal complaint to the federal government about this, because it's absolutely not allowed.
Explain something to me. So you were good enough to work there as a radiologist for 6 years.
Yep.
How personal is this?
I think it's got to do with another colleague of mine who's been having problems with them for a long time. I stood up with her. I've gone on TV with her before, because they have been mistreating her. The details
Another
are,
radiologist?
Yeah, another
Yep.
radiologist, and who I know very well. I've known her since she was a resident, and they were rumoring that she was difficult and all that, which is total nonsense. She's very good. She ran the department at one point. She's very qualified.
So they're bringing in a doctor from California.
Yeah.
I think there's a plan to take in another doctor
Yes.
from the United Kingdom.
In September to November, they've got him booked. And again, another COVID hotspot, and we don't know what that's going to look like in September. And their reasoning is, oh, well, we set this up before. That is ridiculous. You don't set up in a pandemic, and it doesn't matter. They still have to offer me the job first.
What's a reasonable estimate on what these doctors cost?
Well, I mean, the California one, that's got to be several thousand just to get him in here. Because, I mean, I've flown to California. It's not cheap. And then they have to put him up, pay for his meals, pay for the apartment he's in, all this stuff.
And I assume doctors in California are well paid?
I would assume. I don't know what he's really doing up here. And part of the reasoning was, well, he may be willing to be on site for a few months out of the year. That's not a reason. I have to be offered that job before they even offer that to him. They weren't even allowed to offer it to him, though they have,
Right.
without putting it through me. There's very strict federal laws about this.
So has anyone told you, Dr. Rendell, we don't want you, and here's why?
Not in so many words, but I think that the whole process during mediation, which was supposed to be done in good faith, they were behind our backs trying to hire foreign doctors to replace us.
Okay, so on one hand, you're saying they were pretending to try to come to a
Yes.
solution, but what they
Yes.
were really doing was finding your
Yeah,
replacement.
because we found this all out inadvertently through someone who worked in another department. And one of the girls lives there, has lived there for 10, 12 years. She knows people. It's very hard to keep secrets in Gander.
Yeah.
And I hear that the population in Gander is not happy about having an American doctor from a COVID hotspot sitting in their town when it is absolutely unnecessary. I could be there in 3 hours, and half an hour if I took a flight.
Yeah, and you've been doing that for 6 years.
I have been doing this for 6 years.
Final question for you. Gander is not just a small town, but it also happens to be Dr. Haggie's district.
Yes.
We thought after 2018 that it had been looked at, it had been examined. A lot of money has been spent trying to
Yes.
fix Central Health, right?
Yes, I can send you the amount that was spent by last July on this, and there's been much more since, because the girl
How much?
There was at least $1 million a year ago, and I'd say there's multiple thousands since then. I mean, this is not even counting locums or anything. This is just counting the legal stuff that they've been doing with us,
Right.
and the bond and all these reports they've had to pay for, which none of them have been implemented. And Dr. Vogel, who was brought in here to implement
The
the
Vice
bond
President
report,
of Medicine.
he's the VP of Medicine, who's currently living in Ontario and making decisions about Central Health. It's okay for him. He's not bringing them into Ontario, infected people. He's bringing them into Central Newfoundland. And I mean, I like Central Newfoundland. The people are nice. The techs are lovely. I don't want them exposed to COVID, It's terrible. And I let the Department of Health know. I let the Chief Medical Officer know. I let the NLMA know. Didn't even hear back from any
But how
of
did
them.
it get to this point?
How did it get to?
Yes,
I think it's
how
just
do we end up in a situation like this?
There's a major toxicity. It started with regionalization, and there's major toxicity with Gander and Grand Falls. I mean, unless you live there or work there, you'd really have no idea how bad
So
it
it
is.
hasn't really been fixed. Listen, Dr. Rendell, I appreciate
No.
your time, and we'll definitely stay in touch and stay on top of the story. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right, now Dr. Rendell raises something that we've covered before on Here and Now, and that does have to do with what she mentioned, the toxicity of working in the Central Health Authority. My colleague Garrett Barry has that side of the story.
Anthony, it was one of the most remarkable findings of that Vaughan report, the one that Dr. Rendell mentioned. The report said that toxic was the most common phrase used to describe the inner workings of this Gander hospital. It also said that more than 11% of respondents to a workplace survey said that they were personally harassed or bullied in the workplace. Vaughn wrote that below the surface, there are troubling chronic issues of civility and disrespect over many years. As you heard, Rendell believes that culture is part of the reason why she's out of work, and therefore part of the reason why Central Health is now relying on fill-in physicians. Rendell has butted heads with Central Health before in 2015 and in 2018. She stood alongside colleagues who said they had experienced bullying and harassment and had lost their work because of it. In 2018, Health Minister John Haggie said there were enough complaints to order an external review. That was the Vaughn Report, a wide-ranging report that issued 36 recommendations. That was over 2 years ago. Since then, Central Health has brought in a physician advisor at a cost of about $400,000 and says it has acted on every single recommendation. The organization says its goal is to cultivate and foster a culture of compassion and accountability. As you heard, one of the recommendations was that Central Health adopt a grow your own strategy, part of an effort to stop the revolving door of physicians moving in and out of the Gander Hospital. And this is where Dr. Rendell says Central Health is falling short. The health authority hasn't been available for a response yet, but says they will have more to say later this week. Garrett Berry, CBC News, Gander.
Well, are some doctors being paid too much for procedures? The health minister says it's time to look at reducing the amount some doctors get paid. Here Now's Peter Cowan joins us live tonight. So Peter, this comes out of your series looking at how much doctors bill the province. So where does the health minister think adjustments should be made?
Carolyn, what we're talking about here is some procedures that have gotten faster and easier for doctors to do thanks to technology, but the amount they're paid to do those procedures hasn't changed. So if you look at ophthalmologists, for example, they bill more than any other type of doctor, an average of just under $1 million per doctor. And at $2.8 million, Dr. Christopher Jackman was the highest billing doctor in the province last year. So, for example, the cataract surgery they perform is one area that government wants to look at. The health minister says that used to be an hour-and-a-half procedure, and now it can be done in just 12 to 20 minutes.
You know, $670 or whatever it is may actually represent reasonable compensation for an hour and a half, but for 15 minutes, I think that there is a discussion to be had around that. We are in negotiations with the Medical Association, and by and large, reducing fees has been something that has been extremely challenging.
Now, the opposition agrees that it is time to review these fees, but are ophthalmologists really overpaid? Well, the Medical Association says just look at the long wait list and the shortage of ophthalmologists that we already face in this province.
The public would like to attract ophthalmologists and family physicians and internists. So it is a difficult conversation. The attraction of highly skilled professionals, no matter what kind of highly skilled professionals you're talking about, is going to involve competitive compensation.
And speaking of compensation, our stories have changed at least one thing. This data took a 4-year fight to get it released publicly, but the health minister told me he sees no reason why they can't just automatically release this information every year. It's already done in New Brunswick, PEI, BC, and some other provinces. Carolyn?
Thanks so much, Peter. That's Here and Now's Peter Cowan reporting live. Well, some essential workers are going to get some extra cash, including some people who work in grocery stores and personal care homes. It's called the COVID-19 Essential Worker Support Program. Here and Now's Mark Quinn reports.
The provincial government says this program will put money in the pockets of about 43,000 people in Newfoundland and Labrador.
This one today is a recognition of the essential workers. Many of them could have been someone that worked in grocery stores. It could have been someone, that were providing cleaning services. It could have been someone that was providing home support services. This is a recognition for those workers who were essential, that we get them in the workplace during this pandemic.
About 80% of the program's money is coming from the federal government. Workers who are eligible will get a one-time payment between $600 and $1,500. It's aimed at essential workers who made less than $3,000 a month while working during the pandemic.
I knew that when the announcement came that my members would be very disappointed.
Union leaders say people getting the money deserve it, But they're also getting calls from union members who say their work should be recognized too.
Well, you know, there's a big division right now. We see one group of workers being acknowledged and a large group of other workers who have nothing except for government to say thank you. We really appreciate what you've done. So I think government needs to reconsider.
We've heard repeatedly from members that have actually worked hours, worked additional hours, have not been able to get leaves during this pandemic, and feel slighted themselves.
Some union leaders say workers who we now know are essential all the time would be better served by a minimum wage increase. But Premier Dwight Ball says that's a discussion for another time. Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
The Child and Youth Advocate says the province is dragging its heels on an inquiry for Innu children in the child protection system. The province promised it would hold an inquiry 3 years ago that would examine how Innu children are taken from their families. The advocate's stern message comes after a 15-year-old boy took his own life in a group home in Happy Valley Goose Bay last month.
It is very frustrating because we know that there are many things that can be done in the system without having to wait for an inquiry and the results. But the Innu have been really clear that they want a public process and to be able to identify and clearly move forward with a systemic plan for change in the system for the children. And I think that you know, this really is far too long to be waiting for that process to begin.
And the issue was raised in the House of Assembly today, with Premier Dwight Ball saying that the provincial government is committed to the inquiry and is trying to find a commissioner to lead it. Justice Minister Andrew Parsons says the inquiry would happen in 2020. Well, in other news tonight, it's come up before, and now the question is being posed again. Is it time to privatize the province's liquor business? Terry Roberts went looking for answers.
So here's a scenario. Our government selling off its monopoly on booze sales in this province in order to help us through this serious financial crisis. Some say the time for that is now. But for the man who controls the purse strings in this province, the answer to that question is a very hard no.
Not interested.
For the finance minister, the liquor corporation is off limits.
I'm not going to sell out future generations for a short-term benefit today.
And obviously, the union representing most of the nearly 600 public service workers at the NLC has an equally strong position.
Why would they get rid of something that generates clear profit for the people of Newfoundland and Labrador?
It's a very valuable and profitable government asset, turning over more than $180 million in profits to government last year alone. But those who prefer to have the private sector take the lead in business see another way. And scenes like this, they say, prove privatization is not such a boogeyman. People flocked to privately owned Liquor Express stores during the pandemic for their adult beverages.
I can't get any door at all, even just for like eggs or milk.
Overall booze sales in the province were up 11% between March and May, with private stores licensed by the Liquor Board propelling that surge.
From that perspective, it might be time to consider whether the province should look at privatizing Newfoundland Labrador Liquor Corporation.
That's reignited the debate between government ownership and making way for private enterprise.
There is no obvious and legitimate public policy rationale for having public sector ownership of liquor corporations.
Wade Locke believes NLC assets would fetch a pretty penny. And those big yearly profits to government, Locke believes it can be replaced by a special tax on booze. It's been done in Alberta. Tom Osborne and Jerry Earle say it failed.
If you look at other jurisdictions that have privatized liquor stores, they don't get the same revenue.
Look at it, review it, understand what the last 3 months have been about, and whether there truly is apprehension about the whole idea of privatizing the Newfoundland Labrador Liquor Corporation.
Tom Osborne says he's more interested in selling off a money-losing ski hill in Corner Brook and a golf course in St. John's. Terry Roberts, CBC News, St. John's.
Another cannabis growing facility will be built in the province. Oceanic Relief and Delta 9 Cannabis reached a deal with the province to build an $8.5 million cannabis production facility in Burin. Oceanic Relief plans to build a 60,000 square foot facility at the site of a former fish plant in the community. The facility will be retrofitted to produce at least 4,000 kilograms of cannabis annually when in full production. Construction is expected to be completed by the summer of 2023. Well, it has now been 18 days with no new cases of COVID-19 in this province, and some more good news, another person has recovered from the illness. That means there is now only one active case of COVID-19 in the province, and there's no one in the hospital any longer with the virus. We also found out today that next Wednesday, government will announce the date it plans to ease restrictions to alert level 2. When that happens, gyms, churches, and bars will be permitted to reopen with restrictions.
So there'll certainly be guidelines as to how that can happen safely, and I think many of the bar associations are engaged in wanting to follow those guidelines. I don't think anyone wants to be the place where the epicenter of another outbreak. So I think that businesses are engaged to ensure that they're keeping their customers safe and that and their employees safe as well. So yes, there will be some challenges, I'm sure, but I think certainly everybody is really behaving or wants to behave responsibly, especially businesses want to behave responsibly and want to ensure that they can keep people safe.
Well, Stephenville's town council saved the airport this afternoon. The airport has struggled for years with very few flights. Well, today there was unanimous agreement to hire a private company to run the Stephenville Airport. Here now's Colleen Connors has more.
Planes are a big deal here. The airport is a symbol found, well, just about everywhere. Before the COVID-19 shutdown, airlines like Porter, Sunwing, and PAL, they all left. Today, Town Council voted to spend $223,000 to hire a private company to bring this place back.
They got the expertise. We need them. I'm glad to have them. It's a great day in Stephenville.
The Winnipeg Airport Services Corporation will work with the Airport Authority over a 2-year contract.
I always felt that we needed an aviation management company that had special skills, knowledge, subject matter experts that would come in and put a solid foundation to get this airport back.
The contract will be repaid by the province, leaving little for the Stephenville taxpayers. The town provides an annual $200,000 grant, and this councillor said during the virtual meeting today that anything above that is just too much.
I'm a supporter of the airport, but not at all costs. And all costs meaning that just the taxpayers of Stephenville get nailed with all the costs, and the mill rate got to go up, and the majority of people that I represent as councillors are everybody that pays taxes.
Official direction for the future of this place comes from the Airport Corporation. The mayor says bringing this management company on board is a huge step in the right direction for this airport. And hopefully customers from here, Port aux Basques and the southwest coast will use this airport again. But of course, there needs to be flights. And the mayor says that they are working with an airline hoping to bring flights in here in the near future. Colleen Connors, CBC News, Stephenville.
After a dreary couple of days in the east, it's looking up forecast-wise. We've got plenty of sunshine in the forecast. However, before we get there, we've got a frost advisory in place for parts of the island. I'll have all the details coming up.
Their update is brought to you by the sold-out HCF Home Lottery. Thank you, Newfoundland and Labrador. Your support has been overwhelming. Prize winners will be announced on June 25th at hcfhomelottery.ca.
Time to check in with Ashley in the weather forecast. And Ashley, I see that you're indoors this evening. Makes sense considering how wet it's been today and yesterday.
Yeah, it's not exactly lovely outside by any means. However, if you did get out for a walk today, you could use an umbrella, which is good news. There's not a whole lot of wind to talk about. But yes, chilly temperatures, certainly in the eastern areas of the island. Let's take a look at those temperatures today. Only reaching a high near 10 degrees in St. John's today. As you head further west, that's where all that warmth is. 20 degrees in Corner Brook today, even up through Labrador. Happy Valley Goose Bay, 22 degrees. Macovik, 21. Cartwright at 23 degrees this afternoon. So that's where all the heat is if you're looking for it. But otherwise, we've got two stationary fronts in play tonight, and that's just what's bringing all of that rain for eastern areas, and it'll bring some showers up through Labrador as well as we head through the overnight tonight. Overall, we should actually see a nice evening, but chilly across western portions and central interior of the island tonight as those winds ease and we see those chilly temperatures. We're going to continue to see that potential for some showers up through the Big Land, and then eventually we'll see the rain taper to showers and drizzle across eastern areas of the island. But again, those winds, you'll note by morning, will be next to nothing across the Avalon. So taking a look at the frost advisory for mainly from Port aux Basques up through Gros Morne all the way through the interior, including the Bay of Exploits and Grand Falls, Windsor tonight. And again, that's because we're going to see some clear skies, light winds, which is a perfect recipe for some frost tonight. So if you do have any plants, you know the drill, just make sure you cover those up tonight. Otherwise, those temperatures towards the east will be anywhere from 8 to 9 degrees overnight tonight, and then similar temperatures up through Labrador, Nain, you'll be hovering around the 1 degree mark, but again, not very much wind, if any, to speak of. As we head through the morning hours, though, we will start to see those winds increase across the island, anywhere from 30 to as much as 50 kilometers per hour. But once we get those showers out of the way, it's actually going to be a very beautiful afternoon. Plenty of sunshine, just some showers from the northern peninsula and spreading across the Big Land as well. But again, there's those winds picking up through the day, but overall not a whole lot of cloud cover to speak of, and those temperatures should be fairly beautiful tomorrow, anywhere from 17 to 20 degrees across the Avalon, and then into the 20s, mid-20s, low to mid-20s through central, 22 degrees in Corner Brook, and those winds will be gusting upwards of about 50 kilometers per hour. Up through Labrador, just a mix of sun and cloud with that potential for some showers anywhere along this from Lab west to southeast, looking at temperatures in the high teens. Otherwise, you'll be sitting around 11 or 12 degrees. As we head into Wednesday, temperatures will be climbing even more so by a couple of degrees, 22 to 25 degrees through central, staying wet though up through Labrador as you see those temperatures back into the 20s. A little bit of a roller coaster temperature wise. Midweek looks gorgeous for St. John's, eastern Newfoundland. Then we get into some cooler temperatures and that potential for rain as we head towards the weekend. For western Newfoundland, same thing with a drop of those temperatures, and then for central as well, Friday looking at about 13 degrees. But before we get there, mid-20s to the middle of the weekend. For western Labrador, looking gray for you, dipping into the teens as you head towards the end of the week. And then for eastern Labrador, about 17 degrees by the time Friday rolls around with sunshine. So I just wanted to share this great shot with you of the evening view in Port Anson. Thank you to Sheila for sending that in. If you have any weather photos to share with us, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Just beautiful. Thank you so much, Ashley. Welcome back. Well, the details are vague, but the province is pushing to get school children back in class by September. For a breakdown on how that will work and the hurdles they face, Anthony joins us once again. Anthony.
Yeah, quite the surprise today, Carolyn, when Education Minister Brian Ward let it be known in the House that they expect to have the students back in the classrooms come September. The details, though, that's what's going to be fascinating, seeing just what is in Mr. Ward's plan by the end of this month.
We want to make sure that we put the resources. I mean, our department has worked very hard over the last several weeks to make sure that we've been given a little bit more time to plan. And our plan certainly is to make sure that the resources are put in place in September, for September.
So many questions about what's going to happen with education, of course. What is social distancing with a classroom full of 5-year-olds? What is physical education in the era of COVID-19? Lots of questions about this, but one of the most fundamental is what is the plan? And a big one has to do with the internet. So let's hear from the opposition critics.
The question I asked today was, and I used a parent, Leah Hallahan. Leah is a parent of 2 children in Southern Bay. And when they had the Google Classroom in the past 3 months, it would freeze up. They would lose the voice part of the transmission. So she found it to be totally inaccurate or inadequate for her children. Now, she's not alone. I would think there are many in rural Newfoundland will be facing the same thing in September. So yes, it is a big concern. There is no doubt.
In my own experience as a teacher, in pre-COVID times, too many times were schools not ready for September. So I'm concerned that in this time, we're not going to be ready to take it on. And it's why we've been asking for a plan early on so that we can, it may not be a perfect plan, but it's more or less an opportunity to kick the tires, to critique it, to get some feedback on it and how we can improve it.
Very interesting time for this to happen as well, because the teachers, even though school's been off for a while, the school have been on in a virtual sense, but now teachers getting ready for the summer break just as the department's coming up with this plan. And a big question which was asked today was, okay, so does this mean every student and teacher in this province is going to get a laptop or a Chromebook or some kind of device just in case we have to pull the plug on education again in the fall? We don't know the answer to that. Maybe it'll be in the plan. Carolyn?
Thanks so much, Anthony. Well, now that we're seeing more activity in healthcare services and the economy, the demand for blood donations is also on the rise. The Canadian Blood Services in St. John's has changed some of its procedures to keep donors safe. I dropped by the clinic to find out more.
The need for blood is constant throughout the year. During the last 3 months, we've seen a little bit of a decline in the demand because elective procedures were postponed. Not as many people traveling on our province's highways, but as the economy starts to open up, businesses start to open up, and elective procedures are starting to ramp up again, we're seeing an increase in demand here in Newfoundland, Labrador, and across the rest of the country.
And I guess you mentioned people not being on the highways. Now that people are out getting in their vehicles again, traveling around, there will probably be an increase in the number of accidents and therefore an increase in the need for blood there.
Totally. And again, we need all blood types every single day of the year. If somebody is involved in a serious car crash, that person may require up to 50 units of blood. And O negative is a special blood type. It's the universal blood type, and anybody can receive O negative in an emergency situation. So there's always an increased need for somebody with O negative, but again, we need all blood types every single day of the year.
Canadian Blood Services has been open during this entire COVID-19 crisis. I assume that you've seen a decrease in the number of people wanting to come in and donate. What would you say to someone who may be kind of on the fence? They would like to help, they would like to come out and donate, but they're just nervous.
It's totally safe to donate, and I always say just think of the patient at the hospital. the cancer patient, the surgical patient who requires these essential blood products, and it's something that we can't manufacture in a lab. It takes the generosity of our donors to come to one of our donor centers to give that gift of life. In guidance with the Public Health Agency of Canada, we've implemented certain measures. And one of the things when you arrive at the donor center, you will see things a little differently. When you walk in through the doors of our donor center, you will be asked a series of health-related questions regarding travel, as well questions relating to being in contact with somebody who has tested positive for COVID-19. You will have your temperature checked, and once that procedure is complete, then you would be given a non-surgical medical mask if you do not have one yourself. And then there's a series of questions that you would answer. Once you're completed that process, then you would visit with a technician who would check your hemoglobin, review the questions, and then once everything is good, then you would go to the donor chair. It takes approximately 5 to 10 minutes for the actual donation, depending on certain variables like your blood pressure and your veins and all that kind of stuff. And then afterwards, there's a 5-minute rest period where you grab your snack. And then once you're done your snack and your rest period is up, you're good to go.
Welcome back. The health minister wants to reduce payments to doctors for some procedures that have become quicker and easier because of technology. But how could that affect wait times? Here Now's Peter Cowan talked to the health minister, the opposition, and the association representing doctors.
We're looking at fees where technology has overtaken the old procedure. I mean, a cataract when I was a student was an hour and 15, an hour and 30 minutes, and often involved a general anesthetic. Now it's anywhere from 12 to 20 minutes and is done under local anesthesia. There are some other procedures in general surgery and in orthopedics where technology has sped up the procedure and maybe even made it a day case. There is a working group actually at the federal, provincial, territorial health ministers table to look at a coordinated approach across the country for what we regard as technology dependent high cost fees, because $670 or whatever it is may actually represent reasonable compensation for an hour and a half, but for 15 minutes I think there is a discussion to be had around that.
I think that's a discussion between the LMA and its physician group and government. But clearly, if a procedure that you were reimbursed at a rate because it used to take 45 minutes and because of technology you could do it in 15, there may need to be a review of that type of thing. But again, that's something that the LMA with its physicians and government need to sit down and talk about.
Ultimately, those are really difficult conversations for us to have amongst ourselves as well as with the public. And ultimately, it is the public's money. The public would like to attract ophthalmologists and family physicians and internists. So it is a difficult conversation. The attraction of highly skilled professionals, no matter what kind of highly skilled professionals you're talking about, is going to involve competitive compensation.
So do you think that those compensation amounts reflect what they should be, considering the other things that have changed?
Well, I'd like to go to the market and see what the market thinks.
What do you mean by that?
Ultimately, if we cannot attract physicians by paying them adequately, then something needs to change.
But if you reduce the fees, do you not create other problems with wait lists? The wait list already for people is often years trying to get the surgery done.
Well, I mean, there's several initiatives there. I mean, firstly, we are in negotiations with the Medical Association, and by and large, reducing fees has been something that has been extremely challenging. The second thing is we have also looked at and have in place a mechanism which is nearly ready to go for doing these procedures outside of regional health authorities, because one of the limits on procedures is availability of facility time, because up till very recently they could only be done in a regional health authority facility.
Welcome back. The Anukock, or mayor of Postville, says there's still concern over a fuel spill that happened a week ago. A 3,000-liter sheen covered the Labrador community's harbor last Monday. Glenn Shepard says many wonder if it's safe to eat birds and fish caught in the area. Shepard says he drove up the south side of the bay on the weekend and didn't see or smell any fuel. He also says the Coast Guard took 3 people from the community on a flyover of the area on Saturday. The source of the spill is still being investigated. 5 people are out of their homes after a fire at a townhouse in Corner Brook. It happened in a 9-unit building on Olympic Place last night. The fire damaged 2 units. 3 people were living in one and 2 in the other, and all are being helped by the Red Cross. There were no injuries. Well, the Royal Canadian Legion's Newfoundland and Labrador Command is canceling public Memorial Day parades on July 1st because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Thousands normally attend parades and ceremonies across the province, which honor members of the Royal Newfoundland Regiment killed at Beaumont Hamel during the First World War. Legion President Nathan Lear signed a directive last month ordering branches to limit Memorial Day ceremonies. Instead, they will hold small, private wreath layings to honor the fallen with minimal attendance and physical distancing. The families of 2 Indigenous people shot dead by police are meeting today in New Brunswick. Chantel Moore and Rodney Levi were both killed earlier this month, just days apart. Over the weekend, several healing walks were held across the country. Moore's mother led one of them.
We can all come together as one, and we need to educate each other on both sides, Indigenous and other communities as well.
At least 6 walks took place across the Maritimes and in Vancouver. All rallies called for an overhaul of policing in this country, a sentiment that's echoed by First Nations chiefs. CBC's Harry Forstall reports.
In just over a week, 2 Indigenous people have encountered police in New Brunswick and in both cases wound up dead. Chantel Moore was shot to death by local police in Edmundston, New Brunswick during a so-called wellness check. And on Friday, RCMP, responding to a call about an unwanted person in a home, shot and killed 48-year-old Rodney Levi. For some in Levi's community of Metapanagia, it was simply too much.
This happened just right down the road where I live, and they shot an Indian. My blood. Our ancestors fought for us to be living in a free country where we could live in peace. And this is what we get.
RCMP are saying little about the events surrounding Levi's death. Called to a home near the community Friday night, they say they encountered a man with knives, tried to subdue him with a stun gun, and when that failed, an RCMP member fatally shot Levi.
We are coming together with very heavy hearts over what has
Another piece of the puzzle from one of the last people to see Levi alive, Pastor Brodie McLeod of the Boom Road Pentecostal Church. Rodney Levi was a welcomed guest at our home, and he attended our residence where he shared a meal with my family and I on Friday evening. I am sharing this information only to address the inaccurate information that is circulating in the community and on social media. What happened that night, who called the police, and why are questions left to an independent team of police investigators from Quebec. But police investigating police offers little reassurance to people at a weekend demonstration in memory of Chantel Moore.
We need our own Indigenous council to go and investigate these murders.
National Indigenous leader Perry Bellegarde demanded a more profound change.
And so we need a complete overhaul of the system, the policing system, community-based policing, First Nations controlled policing as an option. And so at least that way you're not coming in with fear or malice towards our people, that you're seen as part of the communities.
In First Nations communities across New Brunswick, there's great certainty about one thing, that the killings in Edmundston and Metapanagia were not coincidental, that taken together, they illustrate the need for fundamental change in the way Indigenous communities are policed. Harry Forrestal, CBC News, Fredericton.
Well, a First Nations woman in Nova Scotia has struck a chord with Canadians. Amid the Black Lives Matter movement, April Martel, who lives near Cape Breton, heard some people argue that racism is not an issue in this country. She says that isn't true. Martel rewrote Billy Joel's "We Didn't Start the Fire" to highlight Indigenous issues, and tonight we're going to give her the last word. Thanks so much for joining us for our first one-hour show in quite some time. It's very good to be back. Have a wonderful evening. Here's April Martel.
Colton Bushy, Barbara Kenner, Chantel dyed her baby girl red dress. Canada is in a mess. Stuart Andrews, Brady Francis, boil your water, Oka crisis, MMIWG residential schools, Tanya Brooks, Neil Stone child cultural genocide, Anime highway of tears, 60 scoop for 30 years. Start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. We didn't start the fire. No, we didn't light it, but we tried to fight it. Cassidy, Jean Bernard, and her brother Carlisle, Aisha Hudson, Jacob Sampson, Morris Cardinal, Tina Fontaine, no appeal, no foul play, no big deal. Cheryl Moore, Starlight Tours, I can't take it anymore. We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. We didn't start the fire. No, we didn't light it, but we tried to fight it. We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. We didn't start the fire, but when we are gone, will it still burn on?